So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. It's modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're going to get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad conditions, very inhumane, and the Biden administration started a humanitarian crisis. So y'all can't just look at it like they're ripping good people off the job. They're probably saving their lives in the long run. The only people that are mad about this raid in Ellaville, Georgia at the Hyundai mega site are probably people that don't pay taxes. Because in 2022, when they signed the agreement to bring that plant here and build it, they were given $32 million in tax breaks to employ Georgians, and they didn't. The Georgians never were hired temp to permanent. They had more of the people apprehended yesterday were Korean. They either were here illegally, overstayed their visas, or it was illegals working for the contractors and on the site. So they got all these tax cuts and never created jobs for Georgians. They get EPA tax cuts, never had any plans for well infrastructure or water. So the water they're using is in turn drying up farmers' wells. And all these surrounding counties are like, well, we have money put back in case we need to put in new wells. Well, who does that fall back on? The taxpayers. And how many cattle or crop have to die before they get it put in if they have to go in and put in those backup wells?
So, for those of you that may not be familiar with who this woman is, I always like to give credit for or to the content creators, regardless of whether I agree with them or not. This woman in particular is a person that is catching a lot. And when I say a lot of flack from liberals. Liberals. Wow, right? She is catching flack from liberals for snitching, in their words, on the Hyundai plant over in Georgia for getting all of these illegals arrested that was working on the site illegally. And so now she's standing up for herself. She's tripling down. She's not backing up. She's not, taking her videos down or any of that type of stuff. She's standing 10 toes down in her convictions, and that she's saying, listen, these people during the Biden administration, he was the one that originally signed a deal. That's why you see such a large infrastructure and whatever is going up right now. He's the one that signed the deal, and according to the deal, he's supposed to be employ American workers, union members, people that are building these plants, the partnership with LG, all of this stuff. And what's happened is they brought people over here, maybe even legally, some people maybe illegally, but then they overstayed their visas, they overstayed their welcome. The South Korean government are now involved trying to make sure that they get their people back home safely, when in reality, they should have been doing things in the right way. So really the debate is this, because what people are now trying to justify, it seems like they're switching sides, right? People are trying to justify the Hyundai people or workers being able to be here, and they're trying to say that ICE, immigration, Trump should not be enforcing the laws that's on the books, especially for people that are over here illegally, whether you overstayed your visa or whether you walked over into this country illegally, that they should not have arrested them because the money is what takes precedence, and we should be more careful about the fact that they're bringing additional jobs by investing in the United States of America. My position is, I don't think that the South Korean government is going to make a big stink about the fact that they have a bunch of people over here that wasn't supposed to be over here, a few hundred people that's supposed to be over here, and that they actually need to make sure that they're making the right investments because it's more conducive for them to do things the right way and do business the right way inside of America, instead of taking advantage of American taxpayers and not providing the services that they said that they was going to preserve. And more importantly, what you going to do? Pull out of the United States of America? We're your biggest market. We're their most profitable market. But let me play some more of what she has to say because she is clapping back at all of the people that got something to say about her.
It's not benefiting Georgians, and if you're a taxpayer, it should piss you off. You shouldn't be defending it. The biggest crock of shit I've heard so far since the Hyundai plant in Illabella, Georgia was raided was that the Koreans and the illegals will do jobs that Americans can't do or won't do. Well, that's bullshit, because there were union workers out there who weld, who are safety certified, who are skilled, who those people for decades have built this country. The union and laborers built this country, but they don't want to pay skilled American laborers that are safety certified because it costs them too much. They want to hire illegal labor and people on H-1B visas from foreign countries because they save money. Yet they give them millions of dollars in tax cuts for allegedly creating jobs for Georgians that never happens. But they shit all over our skilled laborers because they would have to pay them more, even though they are skilled and safety certified. They would rather pay a $150,000 OSHA lawsuit like they did with the guy that died on the forklift out there. That place was one big accident waiting to happen. So the contractors, the corporations will hire illegal labor over Americans, not because Americans won't do the job. It's because the Americans are skilled, safety certified, and they know their worth. So they would rather just pay these OSHA lawsuits when people die. It's just ridiculous. I love how y'all say, oh, she's doubling down. She's reneging on what she said. Listen, I stand on business, and when I say something, I don't back down from it. This isn't a pissing contest. So for all you people from out of state harassing me 24 hours a day, coming to our state protesting about shit you don't even understand, let me break it down for you. I didn't know anything about the Korean aspect of the raid. I didn't realize that 300 of the people working at the LG battery site inside the Hyundai mega site were either working on expired visas or didn't have proper visas. And now they're being flown home on a cushy plane, according to the Trump administration and their country. And their country and the Trump administration are going to figure out what they need to do to rectify the situation. Now, as far as the other 172 who some reported, including myself, they were being hired by American subcontractors after they pushed the unions out who were safe, who know how to do their jobs. And they were paying them like $7.50 an hour. They were holding out money saying, well, you've got to pay this fee or you can't stay here, working 6 or 7 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 6 or 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, pardon me, and horrible working conditions, which there are videos of. You can actually go look at some of the Savannah news channels and Google some of the stuff on that, and you'll be able to find it. But you guys are coming here protesting, saying your neighbors, they're not your neighbors, and it's not your tax dollars that's paying for it. Okay, we don't like slave labor around here, and this is what we voted for. And as far as my campaign, well, I'm in a hard Republican district, 22 counties, 2 partial counties, only one of them is Democrat. So you can stop with that buzz right now. We do the right thing. This is what we voted for. I stand by that. And I stand by,
She's not buckling.
We don't hire illegals and slave labor in this country. We hire Americans. Some of y'all are so up in arms about the 300 Koreans being detained by ICE for not having proper visas, which is not the part that I knew anything about, but they wouldn't have apprehended them if they had the proper documentation. And I don't direct ICE. But what you're not up in arms about, and you should be, is the fact that they're upset about that when there's only 3 requirements: a background check, a proper visa, keeping it updated, and a passport. That is it. Do you know what our troops have to have? Our over 1 million troops that have been guarding the DMZ between North and South Korea since 1953. You know, it's 2.5 miles long, right? With booby traps and entrapments. And when our troops go there, they leave their families for at least a year. And they put their butt on the line. And you know what they have to have? They have to have a passport, immunizations, medical clearance, dental clearance, a sponsor, military order, and everything else that falls under the status of forces agreement. It is a lot of paperwork, a lot of documentation, and it has to be maintained. Our military cannot drop the ball on any of that. So I would say if we can maintain that, and we are putting our butts on the line to protect them from North Korea, then it wouldn't be that hard just to maintain some visas. But you know what? I have received some emails that are pretty disturbing, and I hope that they come out with what they found. And I hope there are some criminal charges.
Yeah, I'm not getting into all of that. The one thing that I do know, though, is that these companies, in my opinion, personally, need to be held accountable for the fact that they continue to employ people that are not from the United States of America, and they are not authorized to continue to be here past their visa. And if you do that, but you are taking up resources and then taking money back to your own country, while not at the same time keeping up your agreement that you decided that you wanted to go into with the United States of America, I don't think it's just about the illegal migrants. I think it's about the people that are sponsoring the people to be here and are benefiting from their labor. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T Chanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.